Hello, I'm Nivrajendra, and this is the Embodied Ayurveda podcast. Here you receive high level, authentic, and comprehensive Ayurvedic and yogic insights so that you can truly level up your wellness practices and profession. If you're here listening because you're seeking guidance and tools to take you into that next level of your work here, because you are committed to showing up for the sick world with potent, as potent a medicine as is possible to you, because you are so deliciously in love with paradigms that completely shift you out of your current ones, you are in the right place. I know that most Ayurvedic professionals and accounts are speaking about Ayurvedic lifestyle practices and routines, and maybe that's a lot of what people really care about or pick up on and want to integrate. But I've come to realize through experience, Ayurvedic lifestyle practices are life changing. Yes, of course, they are the structures that help you find the deeper clarity and connectivity within. But you need to know what exactly you are tending to, holding on to, releasing, like on a deeper emotional level, I would say. Otherwise, you're just kind of doing all of these things, but still in uneasiness, still in sickness. I'm going to share with you three principal G's that are the core of my students and clients' biggest transformations that really take them into a version of themselves that sometimes they didn't even know was possible for them. But I did. I always do. So I'm going to name them here for you. I hope it feels relevant and helpful for you. So hear me out. G number 1, grief. Grief. Okay. Grief. Grief is felt collectively, ancestrally, familially, ecologically, and individually, right? Grief is that deep to your core reckoning with loss, with pain, with harm, with suffering. It is being so deeply tied to what brings you joy in this human life and then losing it all. Grief is experienced in the mother, all that she has witnessed in a patriarchal society that has normalized the silencing and removal of the feminine. Your deep pleasure and your desires are not valid in this society. You conform to this harm. You don't speak about your pain. You don't express your truth. You are not allowed this level of freedom or connection. The collective mother, the land, in pain, is felt in your body too. This is passed down by mothers to their children. And because women represent the feminine aspect in this outside material world, they do tend to be more intuitively connected and sensing of this grief. And yes, this is a generalization, but I have seen it true in each and every one of my students and clients. You are all so incredibly sensitive and sensing of grief. And what happens when this grief is not processed, when it is not accepted, when it is not honored? Grief is immense, and I really see it as an experience that transcends our usual structures of time. Because, in a sense, grief never really ends. As long as you are alive in this world, in our current conditions, there is a constant terror that your body is in contact with. There is a constant cruelty that permeates all material life, a constant dying happening even within your own body all the time. And whether you want to acknowledge it or not, the body is witnessing this illusion of loss and making sense of it again and again and again. And sometimes this grief is so cellular because it was really passed down through the strands of your DNA. Memories of ancestors who betrayed themselves, betrayed their own truth, or were witness to cruelty. And here, in this moment of time, in this lifetime, you are actually given the opportunity to do the work of grieving for them. You have the incredible capacity to. The beautiful thing about grief is that it is a range of different emotions, all in perfect amalgamation, to become a sensation and holding that is unique to you. So, how it unfolds, years, decades, lifestyles, lifetimes, it's so unique to you. The point being here that making space for this grief to present itself and creating practices that support the constant metabolization of this grief is incredibly important. Grief also gets to become the catalyst for the potent work that you do here. In grieving and sensing and reckoning with the fullness of this life, your deepest wounds come to light. And the nectar appropriate for these wounds also gets channeled through you. This is the nectar that you then get to offer your community. If you repress grief or you don't allow yourself to go there, this medicine, the medicine necessary, will also stay hidden from you. And this is your biggest gift to the world. So go there, my loves. And I help you do that. Go there, lean in, be with it. Remember, you are held and protected in all ways. G number 2, grace. If you cannot hold your imperfections with grace, they are going to take you down. Some of my students begin working with me with this assumption that it's all just uphill from here, right? And I'm sure you've experienced that with your clients too. And some of my students, they have some really powerful breakthroughs within the first couple of weeks. And then just like that, seemingly out of nowhere, an old pattern reemerges. Just like that, the tendrils of the old latch back on, and it feels like all the work, all the progress was all for nothing. What you don't realize is this moment was inevitable. In fact, I was expecting it. I was waiting for it. Because this journey of health and growth is not linear. It is spiraling and it is in waves, and it's always been. Following through with Ayurvedic and yogic protocols will unlock within you ancient codes, but will also ask for you to purge unserving patterns and identities. And what comes up through this will most likely want you going back to familiar old patterns, like familiar feelings. And this is when the real work begins. The work of grace, the work of faith, the work of reckoning with your humanness and not shaming yourself into perfection. The work of acknowledging your own demons. How can you possibly do this with tenderness and compassion and gentleness and ease? You will destroy yourself otherwise, and this is the tendency. Ridiculous amounts of shaming and criticality and resistance to what is. And this is what truly keeps you stuck in the same loops and same cycles. So this is the very moment you get to do it differently. Make the mistake, falter, catch yourself. Be gentle, accepting and acknowledging of the fullness that is you, with a promise to move more intentionally and mindfully the next time. Grace is not mutually exclusive to growth. We've grown up with this misconception that in order to grow, in order to level up, we need to be scolding ourselves and we need to be harsh and we need to be mean. And that a void of that means we stay lazy and stagnant, and this just can't be further from the truth. True evolution happens from a place of love and kindness. You get to hold yourself up high with elegance even when you falter, understanding that your worth, your value was never contingent on your perfection. And just keep reorienting yourself back to anchors of truth and authenticity that you know you deserve and truly desire. And if in your mistakes you end up hurting someone else, please do allow yourself the experience of remorse, sorrow, guilt, apology, accountability. Grace holds space for it all. It is not bearing your shoulders. It is not belittling yourself or cruel self talk. This process, or rather, this opportunity for grace, and you can call it gentleness too, happens again and again and again till the tendrils, the tendrils become looser and looser and looser. And here is where the deep, sustained evolution begins and happens. And when it does, there is no turning back. So remember this, there is no perfect time to receive deep medicine and mentorship to open you to your grace. A lot of people think they need to wait till life is easeful before working to committing to work with a mentor or coach, or let's say working with me. Life is continuously throwing you plot twists and difficult lessons. So, if anything, now is the perfect time to receive this level of mentorship and skill. Students have gained the most in my program when okay, the students that have gained the most in my program are the ones who are moving through financial transition, career change, sickness, relocation, heartbreak. Because it's right in those very moments that you get to be in actual practice of the precise tools you need to navigate it all with grace. And then you get to bring that depth of wisdom to your people. This is powerful. G number 3, gratitude. Yes, gratitude. I once read this quote. It went something like this: that your brain can only be focused on one thing at a time. When you choose gratitude, you leave no space for fear. The clients who choose to return to gratitude again and again and again see pain as a gift, see triggers as a gift. Their results are exponentially greater. And of course, it's your responsibility as a guide, as a coach, to mirror that to them in this profound way, right? So it's saying, the mirror basically helps them to say this, helps them to come to this awareness, which is, I choose to look back at life and cultivate an attitude of celebration as opposed to resentment and bitterness. I choose to see every single violence or trauma or harm as a lesson, an opportunity for growth, and be so humbly thankful to all that was supporting my movement through it, all that was protecting me. Gratitude is not a denial of harm, okay? Let's get this clear. And I don't think any of us here suppose that we would impose gratitude on someone else, that kind of toxic positivity, right? I have received that, and it is not fun to be like, you're so blessed, like you're just so blessed, like da, da, da. No, what I'm moving through right now is valid. I get to come to gratitude on my own, right? Cultivating that quickness to anchor is what I get to help people do and cultivate. What you as a coach, as a guide, as a mentor, not imposition, rather invitation. So we always hold ourselves accountable, first of all. And when I speak about gratitude, it's really about the internal attitude. It's how we move through all the uncertainty, the trials, with actual respect for this life, all that it has given us. And really, at the end of the day, you don't have to choose gratitude. You have a choice, right? But you have to ask yourself at some point, how is this serving me? What is, how is this serving you? Or rather, what does this deny me? What does this deny you? Gratitude is free nectar that you can choose to soak in whenever you feel called to. It's cultivated from the inside out, regardless of circumstance. Remember that. So, regardless of what your client or what your student or loved one is moving through, you get to reflect in your own embodiment. Wow, look at the blessing that is your food. Look at the blessing that is the land providing food for you. Look at the wonder that you can access friends through technology. Look at the wonder of this body trying its best to heal. So much that has been given to you. When you align yourself with that frequency of abundance, you call more of it in. We know this. There's medicine here. Gratitude is engaging with life as it is, with that different kind of appreciation and love. In a sense, it's understanding all that is sacred within the mundane and giving your energetic presence there, becoming that. The practices and rituals of Ayurveda are so luxurious in their simplicity and accessibility because there is a deep reverence of the medicine within all that we take for granted. And raising these things up to the throne that they belong to, doing that, the moment my students begin engaging with their days in this way and then bringing that to their people, everything changes. Gratitude turns you into royalty. Truly, it does. And then you call in more opulence. And this is a feedback loop I help you participate in, and I help you invite your people into. And that's just like, again, extraordinary nectar. So I know there's so much on gratitude studies and mindset studies that are out there. This is not something new or old or, special to Ayurveda. Like I said, so much of modern science is actually just affirming what ancient sciences have always known. But I want you to grasp this in an even more delicious and divine way so that it really sticks with you. All of you know about these studies, but what gets embodied despite the limitations of the mind is what the heart truly desires. That's why I convey these messages from my hearts to your hearts. Let the deepest core of you feel what is yours, what is possible for you. This is really the level at which you and I work together. And you are listening to me here, you're receiving me, and I am receiving you. So I'm not going to say any more on that. The 3 Gs, my G, grief, grace, and gratitude. Grief, grace, and gratitude. Let the ancient medicine of Ayurveda elevate you into navigating and calling in these Gs with ease, pleasure, and flow. Let you show up for your community whilst also filling up your own cup so you can do this work till the end of time. My loves, I want this to feel sustainable and rich and delicious for you too, because showing up for community in the way that our world is right now, it can be hard work. It can be a lot of energy, a lot of craziness that we have to hold space for. And I know this is your calling. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones. So just imagine diving in at this level and seeing yourself be transformed out of old karmic cycles so that you can guide your clients with a whole different level of clarity and impact, and learn to even show up in this way where you get to call in those clients. You're embodying that truth so powerfully that you magnetize this work and prosperity with this work to you. I want you to be sharing your voice and medicine with purpose and power. So just tell me, what is holding you back? Talk to me about this. Find me on Instagram @yourhealthcompass. Let's keep the conversation going. This is embodied Ayurveda, a nuanced, ancient practice that you will be hard pressed to find anywhere else. Keep shining your beautiful light. Stay cozy, stay gentle, stay close to what is true within you. Till next time, goodbye.